Buenas gente, hoy quería subir este vídeo sobre Penguin Fetacero, que ya lo conoceréis algunos, es un youtuber muy conocido en Estados Unidos y también conocido como Charlie, que critica a Liver King. El título del vídeo es Liver King está en mala forma y en él profundiza en los detalles. Vamos a analizarlo brevemente.
At the end of 2022, the Liver King was one of the biggest names in the fitness industry. But at the beginning of the year, a mere 8 months ago, it all came crumbling down thanks to one video from More Plates, More Dates, where he exposed that Liver King's entire online presence was based upon
Supongo que todos conoceréis a Liver King, que es el rey del hígado. El llamado rey del hígado es ese tío que come testículos crudos, carne cruda, se bebe sangre, bueno, se ve destripando animales y todo el rollo, o sea, un chalao de la cabeza. Entonces, aquí dice Penguin, o Charlie, como queréis llamarle, que hace 8 meses sacó un vídeo diciendo que evidentemente no era natural y que tomaba un montón, una montaña de esteroides. Bueno, se destapó la mentira. Toda la gente que aún creía o pensaba que era natural, evidentemente, pues les quedó claro y evidente.
on a lie. Liver King had always preached the primal lifestyle known for eating a bunch of wacky foods and raw meats. Like, he has more testicles in his videos than Riley Reid's entire filmography.
O sea, para ponerlos en contexto, en situación, este tío se hizo súper famoso por hace años por llevar un estilo de vida primitivo como nuestros ancestros. Bueno, vamos, como si fuera un neandertal. Vivía igual, cazaba, lo que cazaba se lo comía tal cual crudo.
Testicles and slurping down tons of liver, gluttonously consuming an endless supply of exotic meats, and all the while preaching that it's ancestral living. And he'd lead his followers to believe that if they purchase his supplements and his supplies and eat like
O sea, este tío se beneficiaba, bueno, pues como muchos influencers, ¿no? De vender sus productos. Tenía sus proteínas en polvo a base no sé, de hígado o de carne ahí. Entonces, claro, les decía que si compraban sus productos, seguían su estilo de vida ancestral primitivo, se iban a poner igual que el de Fuertes. A ver, es que tú has visto el pavo ese tío cuando estaba bien, o sea, era un monstruo, tenía un cuerpo increíble, o sea, brutal, o sea, imposible estar así natural, vamos.
him, they could look like him. And obviously, a lot of people fell hook, line, and sinker for that scam because he has a very impressive physique. He looks like an anime
Claro.
character straight out of Baki the Grappler. The goofball's got muscles on his body that haven't even been invented yet, and his veins are just bulging out of his skin.
Esta frase es buena que va a soltar ahora.
And it looks like they're transporting diesel throughout his body.
Dice que tiene sus venas tan grandes que parece que estén transportando diésel.
And he would keep telling them, like, if you work hard, you buy my shit, you eat like me, you live like me, following the ancestral tenets, you can be like me, look like me. And it was all completely a lie. It turns out he was juiced to the gills. He was on tons and tons of performance-enhancing products, and More Plates, More Dates brought that to the public eye. Eventually, it forced Liver King himself to just admit that he lied about all of it. He lied. His body isn't the result of following the ancestral tenets or glorbing
Evidentemente que mucha gente, la mayoría, el 90% o más, sabía que este tío no era natural. Es que es imposible, vamos. Pero seguro que había una pequeña parte que se lo creía, que se creía que su estilo, que estaba así de fuerte por su estilo de vida, porque el tío vivía ahí con una tribu y vivía, bueno, digamos que su día a día era ir a cazar y cuando cazaba un animal, tal cual lo destripaba, se lo comía, se bebía su sangre, se comía sus testículos, su hígado y él hacía alarde de que, bueno, gracias a eso tenía ese cuerpo, pero está claro que todo el mundo, que la gente no es tonta.
down on animal testicle for every meal. It's the result of steroids. So, I saw a video floating around on Twitter today, one of his more recent posts, and he's looking extremely rough. So, I just wanted to do a little checkup on where Liver King is 8 months post exposing.
Bueno, ahora va a poner una foto de cómo está él actualmente. Bueno, un vídeo en TikTok que se le ve, pues claro, se le ve un poco demacrado, parece un vagabundo, parece que esté viviendo en la calle, pero no es así. Está el tío reventado de todo lo que se está metiendo, de toda la mierda y todo el rollo, pues el tío está así. De hecho, hace 8 meses salió diciendo que no era natural, que tomaba esteroides y tal, y dijo que lo dejaba. Cuando dejó de tomar esteroides, se hizo una analítica para hacer creer a la gente de que no toma más esteroides. Y la analítica evidentemente salía limpia. ¿Por qué? Porque llevas semanas sin tomarte, o no sé, o meses, ¿no? Por decir algo. Pero ¿a quién vas a engañar? Ya los has engañado una vez, no vas a volver a engañarlos otra vez. Entonces, el tío sigue tomando. Tío, toma más cantidad aún. Por eso está así de reventado y demacrado, vamos.
In the modern world, we like...
Míralo. Mira qué cara que tiene. Que parece que parece que sea un sin techo de verdad, ¿eh? O sea, con todo el respeto a los sin techo, pero que es que mira cómo está el tío. Parece que iba en la calle, que se meta un litro de vino tinto de estos de Tetrabric, tío. Míralo cómo está el tío. Aquí está echando leche con testículos. O sea, un sinsentido.
to have our bowl of cereal, don't we? This is a primal version
¿No sería más fácil comerse unos cereales normales con leche?
of your bowl of cereal. I got my testicles in farm fresh milk.
O sea, vosotros os imagináis que nuestros ancestros, ¿vale? Hicieran esto, leche con testículos, que no. Este tío está mal de la cabeza.
From Liver King Ranch.
Yeah, it's business as usual. He's doing the exact same stuff as he was prior to having all of the steroid usage come to light. But it looks like he's aged 20 years in the last 8 months.
Esto es bueno. Dice que, claro, desde que se sinceró, ¿no? Que tomaba esteroides, que se destapó toda esa farsa, a día de hoy, dice que parece que haya envejecido 20 años, o sea, que haya empeorado en 8 meses, más que todos los años que lleva metiéndose esteroides. Y esto es porque se está tomando más cantidad de esteroides, evidentemente para aguantar ese ritmo, para tener esa definición y esa cantidad muscular, esa calidad muscular y esa cantidad muscular. Tiene que tomarse un montón, si no es imposible.
It looks like he's one testicle sandwich away from actually exploding. In every TikTok I've seen of him, his body is bright red. It looks like Arnold's face in the movie Total Recall when he takes his helmet off in space and his eyes pop out of his skull, like right before blowing up. That's what Liver King's body looks like. It looks like it is struggling to stay in one piece. Also, a lot.
Bueno, dice que eso, que está demacrado, está rojo, de la cara roja, y a saber si el hígado, los riñones los tiene bien, porque este tío tiene que estar por dentro a punto de reventar.
People on Twitter pointed this out, and it's a really good point. It is still so silly how he keeps calling his diet primal.
La gente en Twitter evidentemente lo trata de tonto, porque es que es así.
Living, eating like our ancestors, when this is the furthest thing from primal eating. All of his meals are meticulously prepared by his personal chef and his whole team. He used to say this thing on his videos where if you don't hunt it, you don't eat it, which is just so dumb because...
Aquí dice que antes, en sus primeros vídeos, decía si no lo cazas, no lo comas, ¿no? O algo así. Entonces, hoy día este tío ha ganado mucha popularidad, muchos seguidores, gana mucho dinero y tiene chefs que le cocinan, evidentemente, tendrá nutricionistas, tendrá de todo. Y sigue vendiendo este estilo de vida primitivo, cuando no es así.
Clearly he's not hunting for all of this meat. Like, he's eating more meat than Luffy in One Piece. There is no way he'd be able to hunt for all of that. The only eat like he does in these videos is because he is indulging in the modern excess. He is doing nothing even remotely associated with living primal. I guess aside from the bed he sleeps on, because he basically sleeps on a fucking plank of wood. Dude goes to bed in a coffin like a muscle vampire. That's like the only ancestral type thing he does, because his diet is the furthest thing from it. It is literally the result of being super privileged in the modern excess era.
The most feared warriors, the Maasai. What they get down on is milk, meat, and blood.
Puto
And they are
asco,
expressed
tío.
in a higher, more dominant form. If you still want your primal cereal
luego
to
le
taste
echa-
like Cocoa Pebbles at the end.
That weak-ass chocolate powder that he's dumping in from his brand
echa
is
chocolate
not
en
going
polvo,
to
pavo.
salvage this primal
Madre mía.
bowl of cereal. It's not going to make it taste like Cocoa Pebbles. It's going to make it taste like Cocoa Puke. It also really made me giggle that he just didn't even have the energy to actually mix the powder with the milk. So he ends up just consuming it with just powder on top of milk. It's so weird though that he even bothered calling this a bowl of cereal primal style. It has nothing in common with that other than there just being milk in a bowl. They could have just presented this testicles and some milk. But anyway, I do think he's upped his usage of the PEDs. It seems like he is in a much different state now than he was 8 months ago, and not for the better. In most of the TikTok
Claro, dice que él cree que ha aumentado más la ingesta de esteroides, más que antes, y por eso se le ve este aspecto tan reventado.
TikToks I watched from him, he seemed much more physically drained much quicker. He seemed to have significant.
Sí que es verdad que antes tenía un aspecto mejor. O sea, estéticamente el tío tenía un cuerpo espectacular. O sea, estaba musculado, definido. Y ahora sí que se le ve un poco así. El tono de piel está un poco raro, no sé. Está como anaranjado, está extraño, como hinchado, no sé.
Significantly less energy. His physique doesn't look significantly different than it used to, but it looks less human, if that makes sense. Like, it doesn't look like muscles anymore. It looks like he has a bunch of rocks under his skin disguising themselves as muscles, like in the shape of muscles.
Put a little bit of whole beef in with your testicles. Make sure you peel back the membrane of the testicle.
Es absurdo. Esto que hace es absurdo.
You can use a spoon if you want, but God gave you the hands for a reason.
I honestly feel pretty bad to a certain extent here. Like it feels like his muscles have gained their own sentience at this point from so many steroids that they now have a mind of their own, and they're working the Liver King like a puppet. They're in his brain, you know, staying on the gear, never letting him stop. That he's trapped doing this forever because of the livelihood of his entire family. So he needs to keep amping heads and peeling the tongue out of frogs in one of his other TikToks, most recent ones. Like, he just has to keep amping that up so people.
Luego hay otro tema que a mí me sorprende, es como TikTok y las redes sociales en general le dejan subir este tipo de vídeos tan, no sé cómo llamarlo, tan asquerosos y tan, no sé, parece un caníbal el tío ahí destripando animales, tan gore, ¿no? Son escenas como muy gore, como dice él, arrancándole la lengua a un pollo y no sé qué, a una rana. Eso lo veo un poco, no sé, es contenido sensible, vamos, no sé.
Keep watching, and then he has to keep injecting and stay on all the gear, so that way his physique stays the same, so people keep watching. And I feel really awful for his audience that is still buying his products in the hopes that they can look even remotely similar to how he does.
Claro, si este tío sigue enriqueciéndose es porque vende sus productos y es porque alguien compra esos productos. Pues, como dice él, hay una audiencia que es que sientes pena por ellos porque realmente están comprando sus productos. Pero, tío, que este tío es un fantasma, es un timador. O sea, estás comprando cosas para, entre comillas, ponerte fuerte o parecido a él cuando ya sabes que él va con el queroseno por las venas. Es imposible.
Can't hop off the hopium, no matter how closely you follow his ancestral tenets, and no matter, you will not have a body that looks like his unless you also get on all of the gear he's using in the same amounts of it. That is the only way.
Evidentemente.
His body is not naturally achievable. Period. Full stop. He's been posting a lot more content in very expensive shit that is very clearly not ancestral living. So this is a screenshot from one of his more recent TikToks where he's on his private jet and has his personal chef Lionel serve him up some snakes on a plane. So he.
Claro, aquí se ve que Liver King está cambiando ya su estilo de vida, su manera de vivir, porque ahora ya sí que vive de una manera muy lujosa. Ya no vive en cuevas, ya no está ahí tirado en medio de la sabana cazando animales con flechas y lanzas. Aquí ya le vemos con su jet privado, con su chef, con platos hiper mega caros. Se le ve con relojes carísimos, Rolex de 100.000 euros. Y eso ya digamos que se aparta, o sea, ya se desvía de lo que él predica. O sea, ese tipo de vida primitivo y ancestral ya deja de tener sentido porque vas en jet privado y bueno, llevas una vida a todo tren. Imposible que la gente te tome en serio, vamos.
makes some snakes for him to eat. It's clearly a joke off of the old meme, you know, motherfucking snakes on the plane. That one died like a. He's unashamedly showing that he doesn't actually even follow his own ancestral living lifestyle advice, really. Like, being on a private jet is the furthest possible thing from primal living. And some of his audience even called him out, saying, you know, our private jet's primal. And I guess, you know, it's his world, we're just eating testicles in it. So he just comes up with some arbitrary excuse on why it's totally fine. So he says, a true primal left the comfort of the cave for adventure and a better life. Flying private falls square.
Bueno, y le contesta este comentario, pues bueno, le contesta lo que le da la gana, evidentemente.
In the better life department. What a cop-out. So basically, I make the rules, fuck you. Like, that doesn't make any sense. By this logic, you could also make the same argument for actually everything else. Why eat all the raw meat that you preach about? True primals in search of a better life learn to...
Sí, toda esta carne cruda que come, no hay ninguna base científica, o sea, no hay ningún estudio científico que demuestre que eso es beneficioso. Comer carne cruda no tiene ningún beneficio, vamos.
To cook food, and it helped them find a better life. So why wouldn't cooking all of the meat of your primal definition? It doesn't add up. It's just one of those things where rules for thee, not for me. He doesn't practice what he preaches. I said this a long time ago. I am very confident everything he showed in his lifestyle video was a big old load of baloney. Just actual fucking horse, basically. I think he has a luxury $20,000 mattress infused with diamonds somewhere. Because he lives a very lavish lifestyle and always has. And everything he's ever put online has been a lie, especially when it comes to his physique and what he actually does in order to look the way. Trying to even pretend that you follow your own ancestral tenets and primal living. This is clearly all just marketing. Always has been.
Desde el principio esto ha sido marketing, no ha sido ahora. Este tío cuando creó su canal y empezó con este tipo de vida ancestral y primitivo, su objetivo era este, o sea, que impactara lo máximo posible en la gente y que tuviera la máxima repercusión, y lo consiguió, le funcionó. Esta estrategia de marketing, como pues todo el día sin camiseta, en short, como si fuera una tribu indígena de África o de Sudamérica o de Asia. Y el tío, pues eso, cazaba tal cual, con la flecha o con la lanza, y bueno, pues se comía los animales así tal cual. Solo le faltaba comerse los animales vivos, o sea, eso ya hubiera sido el colmo. Pero gracias a eso, esa estrategia le funcionó, así tan grotesco sale, como son imágenes como muy impactantes, grotescas, de comiendo carne, la sangre, parece una película de terror, parece La Matanza de Texas, y eso le funciona muy bien, y el tío pues mira, ha llegado hasta donde ha llegado, por más que nosotros creamos que es un estúpido y un tonto y todas esas cosas, pues el tío aquí está siguiendo con su estrategia. Lo que pasa es que ahora eso ya no vende, porque la gente ya no lo toma en serio por el hecho de que ya no vive como antes. Ahora pues vive una vida de lujo que te cagas.
Always will be when it comes to the Liver King. He is just in every single video pumping his Liver King bars, Liver King powders, supplements, all kinds of just watching him needs. You can find significantly better products on the market that aren't the Liver Kings. Compared to the rest of the industry, his benefit far more from doing research outside of the Liver King echo chamber and finding much better supplements and powders than what he's currently offering. Holy shit, this fly has not left the entire video. I'm having my own primal battle right now against nature here, Jesus. But the point is, he is a fraud. He has been exposed as a fraud.
Bueno, eso ya lo
and
sabemos.
8 months later, he is still doing the exact same thing, but he looks a lot worse now because I really feel like he is only much to his overall health detriment, I imagine, and only amplifying the extreme nature of his wacky meals. So that's just month update on the Liver King here. That's really about it.
Bueno, pues eso ha sido todo. Este ha sido el vídeo. Espero que os haya gustado y darle like, suscribiros, y así puedo seguir subiendo contenido. Gracias.